Okay, this is a funny one. Uh, there's actually some, honest to God, Kirk Cousins MVP season steam out there. Um, Michael Irvin picked him to be the MVP. One of the guys whose name escapes me from NFL Network, the morning show, I think, picked Kirk. Um, it's not going to happen. Look, and this is not certainly not certainly not coming from an anti-Kirk person. I'm very pro Kirk. I absolutely think he could have a season worthy of an MVP or at least MVP votes. Absolutely. Um, but it won't happen. And there's a couple reasons. One is just the narrative for years around Kirk Cousins is so negative and condescending and dismissive that people aren't going to let that go. Like the media people love their fucking narrative so much. You know, I mean, it's just not going to happen. Um, but if Kirk does have that level of season, which I think again, I think he very well might. Uh, there's another player who's going to have an, a monster season, and that is Justin Jefferson. Could even be the kind of season that would set records for receivers, and that's the one way you can kind of break through the MVP has basically become just quarterback of the year. But a couple times guys have broken through like Adrian. But you have to have a historic type of season, like Tomlinson broke through and won MVP one year when he set the touchdown record. You have to have some sort of historic season. Justin Jefferson could have that season if Kirk has that kind of season, you know. And if Kirk is putting up giant numbers and the team's winning, and wins shouldn't count, but they absolutely count when it's the people who vote on this stuff take that into account. Um, if that happens, the guy who will get will get MVP consideration will be Justin Jefferson, not Kirk Cousins. That is 100% guaranteed. Um, so on that level, Kirk will not win MVP. Um, but basically, it's just MVP has of course become just essentially quarterback of the year, but it's just laziness. The people who vote on this basically just more often than not just pick the starting quarterback of the team that had the best record. That's generally how it goes. You know, maybe if there's like two teams that tie, then they pick a certain guy. But um, it's like, was Aaron Rodgers more valuable than Patrick Mahomes the last couple of years? Absolutely not. But better records. So, um, and I think the best record. I haven't done a preview video. I'm going to do that at some point here before the big kickoff game. But I think the team that's going to have the best record is going to be Buffalo. And Josh Allen will probably have a really good season, and Josh Allen will win the MVP because he'll be the quarterback of the team with the best record. It's really that simple. People want to act like this stuff is complicated. It's really not. If Buffalo wins 14 or 15 games, which I think they might, and Josh Allen presumably has a very good season as part of that, he'll win the MVP. Like, that's just how it'll be. And I haven't done official prediction stuff yet. Um, I have on my blog if you want to look at the blog, but I haven't done a video yet. I think the Vikings are going to win probably 11 games, somewhere in that range, and Kirk's gonna have a monster year, so he would be worthy, but he won't win. Um, Hell, if Tampa Bay ends up with the best record, they'll just give it to Brady because most of these people are just lazy idiots who don't really follow anything. They just look at the standings and be like, oh, this guy must be the best quarterback. That's why people don't think. That's why people laugh when Kirk is brought up as an MVP candidate because they're like, oh, well, look at his records last couple of years. Well, they weren't because of him. Like he played an MVP caliber season last year. You know, I mean, he wouldn't have won it though because the team record wasn't there. But it wasn't because of him. I think the team record will be there much more this year because of him, but it still won't matter. It's fun. It's fun to It's nice to see him get a little bit of of positive talk out there. Although I don't know how positive it was, considering he's, people who pick Kirk are immediately just mocked and ridiculed. But you know, Kirk will be worthy of an MVP this year. I don't think he'll win MVP. I don't think there's. I would put it at about a 1% chance that he wins MVP, and even that might be too high. Because again, it'll be JJ that gets the MVP consideration if this offense and, obviously this passing game are as potent as I expect them to be. But boy, it would be fun, wouldn't it? Wouldn't it be amazing to see Kirk win the MVP? What would the haters say then? Because what do we hear? That he's not even a top 10 quarterback, that he's overrated, that he's a choke artist, that he's a stat patter. Well, what if he had an MVP award on his resume? It wouldn't shut these people up because, you know, oh, storm sirens for the month. Um, well, I better cut these short before they get loud. But Kirk won't win the MVP. He'll be worthy of it, and the haters are gonna just have to deal with it.